Why have women become so entitled? Is it social media?
It is a combination of social media, but it's also a combination of the fact that there's a lot of beta males, a lot of thirsty beta males in the world that validate women like this. And obviously, with the internet, with social media, they're constantly getting validated there. You got a lot of guys that are weak, and so they let women get away with all kinds of things. And if they're able to get away with things, if a hot girl when she's younger, when she's 18 to 25, gets a ton of attention, and she's an asshole to every guy that she meets, but yet no matter how bad she treats a dude, he sticks around and puts up with it, or there's just a constant supply of new guys that are willing to put up. They know her history and they know her past, and they don't care. They think they're going to be different. So life fills voids. And if you think back 60, 70, 80 years ago, a woman that went and slept around was very looked down upon. Even nowadays, most guys are like, they don't want a chick that's been run through, especially if they're gonna get married. They don't want a chick that slept with half the city. Because instinctively as men, you want to know, if especially if you end up having a child, that child is actually yours, and you were the only one that she was sleeping with. I've had tons of phone sessions over the years and countless emails from guys that had lots of kids with their girl. And like I had one a few years back, and I think they had 5, 6 kids, if I remember right. And they've been married almost like 30 years. And she slept with everybody. She slept with his business partners. She slept with his best friend. She slept with his next door neighbor and a lot of dudes in the neighborhood. And he had no idea that this was going on. What really hit him was I guess he was sitting, and his best friend was over, and I think it was his son was sitting next to his best friend, and he was going, my son looks more like my best friend than he does me.
Ooh.
And that kind of started the ball rolling, and he started asking around, and it's like everybody knew that his wife was just kind of a nympho. She slept with everybody, and he had no idea. And I think it was there were several of the kids that were not his. So imagine that. Almost 3 decades.
7 kids.
No, I think it was 5 or 6
He
kids
said
I think they
7.
had. But several of the kids were not his.
That's very sad.
That's fucked up.
And he didn't notice it till the kids got old enough to where...
So wait, you guys are all different.
Yeah, but that becomes like a psychological issue, I think. First,
It's kind of traumatizing.
traumatizing for the parent.
And emasculating.
Yeah, for the parent,
And for the kid, too.
For the child, but more so I think on that father figure who has stepped up, taken that role, wanted to be a dad, has provided...
a good, loyal husband.
Has provided
And as soon as he was gone, she was with anybody and everybody.
Have you guys seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
No.
I've heard of it.
There's this scene where Frank finds out his kids aren't his kids, and they're in a very fancy restaurant. He just starts yelling out. He goes to every single table in the restaurant. Is like, "Oh, excuse me, did you have any illegitimate children with my whore wife?" I'm sorry. And he's like, "Frank, stop making a scene." "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm making my scene. My whole life was a lie." He does it way better. Frank, love Danny DeVito. Go watch that clip, and you guys will get the context. Yeah, that's very traumatizing for the dad. They see your whole life was a lie. It's like the cuckoo birds. They raise other babies. They're one of the species to do that. I don't know what that correlates to, but he's basically a cuckoo bird.
Yeah, and even though a lot of states, when it turns out the kid's not yours, it's the state was like, sorry,
well, I
it's
guess
your wife.
Kind of
you gotta provide for him.
I guess they kind of become the kids though through
It depends on the state. If it's a blue state, the laws are totally slanted against the guy. But if a red state, Florida, we're pretty good. It's we've got whatever you come into the marriage is what you leave with the marriage, and then whatever you build while you're together, you split that.
But I guess they're still kind of his kids though, because biologically they're not his kids.
He still loved them because he always thought they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine just hanging out with your best friend, and your best friend has been drilling your wife for
I think he's a
years.
terrible
And
best
you're
friend.
raising his kid.
Yeah.
He's a terrible best friend to begin with. He just broke bro code.
Yep.
Like,
I think it's
he violated
for
the
a
shit
little
out
bit
of bro
further
code.
than that
That's why it's
because-
so important to make sure character's destiny.
Yeah.
I think maybe for like their next birthday, he should be like, "I'm not your father."
But do you think that there might have been something that shifted that made this infidelity happen, or was that something that was in her nature?
That was in her nature. That's who she was. She didn't value loyalty, monogamy,
Did she do that
exclusivity.
before marriage as well? Has she cheated
Probably.
before?
That I don't know. If I remember right, she had been around even in college. She, she'd had a party phase, a hoe phase, if you will.
I guess it stuck
Well,
It
around.
just
those are
never-
two different
It
things.
never went
though.
away.
And just never, he thought because they were married.
It's not a
that she-
phase, Dad.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't a phase.
Yeah,
It
but a
became a
hoe
lifelong
phase
thing.
and the party phase are two different things. Like people can go out, they can party.
They can go hand
They
in
can enjoy
hand, though.
themselves.
If I remember right, he was aware that she had cheated on previous boyfriends, and I've had
That's
countless,
a red flag.
I've had countless phone sessions with guys that married women anyways that they knew had cheated on other guys because they figure, hey, I'm the best.
So that's a huge
She
hit
would
or
never do that
miss.
to me. That's why it's so important to make sure you make a good choice because then you can find out that half your children are not yours.
That's very
Yeah,
traumatizing.
it's kind of a sad reality. I found like most cheaters typically are still cheaters.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
Once a cheater,
Yeah.
always a cheater.
People don't change who they are. They may become a better version of themselves, but if somebody is a ratchet and they have no integrity and their word doesn't mean anything, they may say that they want to be honest. They may say they want to be loyal and faithful, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to what do they do, they're consistent with their nature.
Some cheaters are in denial, where it's like,
True.
oh yeah, they do want to be faithful, but they still do it anyway.
Yeah,
So they're
'cause
putting
they-
themselves in total denial.
Yeah, so their actions communicate their true intentions.
Do you think that some cheaters want to better themselves, will take that step forward?
You could get a room of 100 of them, and they would all say, "Well, I'm going to do better in the future. It's not going to happen
Well,
again." But
It's a matter of
Hold on,
whether or not
wait.
they
tend to be
actually go about
selfish and they
it.
tend to be
Right.
narcissistic.
that was where I was going with this. So, like, do you think
It's
that
not your
they
job
will-
to fix them.
No, it's not your
change
job
them.
to ever fix anyone except for yourself.
You got to see the reality as is. And like I said, lots of guys will see these things and they're like, "But I love her and she's so hot and the sex is great," and they get married anyway.
Yeah, the sex is great because she's slept around with multiple guys. She has experience. Of
Right.
course, it's gonna be great.
Or vice versa. You know, I think that it doesn't matter really what sex is cheating if it's going to be someone is participating in infidelity, that's ingrained in them. They're not going to really change who they are. That they have
No, they're only going to
gotten that
change
rush.
after they got caught.
No, even after
Yeah.
they've gotten caught,
that's what I
they
mean.
will temporarily stop
Yeah, but that's a hit or miss sometimes.
and then they will
even
continue to
then.
do it. It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter if it's going to be with like that person or if they start dating somebody new.
No, but you'd be surprised. There's people that once they get caught, they do stop, but it doesn't happen
To
commonly.
maybe
it really
to
doesn't.
the person who they're dating's knowledge. I don't believe that it ever truly stops, whether
Yeah.
it's going to be some sort of an emotional connection with someone else instead of a physical, or a spiritual one. Whatever it is, there's always going to be some sort of infidelity or that will occur. Because once that like trust has been broken and someone has experienced that type of relationship outside of the one that they are in and they know that it's obtainable, why would they not have it? Why would they not have more than one if they know that they can get away with it?
Yeah, I've told this story in the past on my channel, and there was a guy that I worked with back in the day when I tended bar, and he was one of the managers there, and he was a good-looking dude, cool guy. Everybody hung out together, would drink after work or whatever, but he had a long-term girlfriend. I think they lived together, and they'd been together for 2 or 3 years, and I mean, because we had a lot of cute girls that worked with us at the restaurant, and I remember 3-4 months after he got married and had this big old wedding, and his wife was beautiful and she was a sweetheart, and he always thought he was pulling the wool over on her eyes. And I remember it was like, I remember one time, I think it was a few weeks after maybe it was a few weeks after they got married, if I remember right. I mean, this is like 20, almost 30 years ago now. But he comes up to me, he's like, hey, Corey, I can't remember the girl's name. He's like, I fucked so-and-so last night. I was like, all right, buddy, good on you, man, whatever. I was like, didn't you just get married a few weeks ago? I was like, he's like, oh, I know. And it was just constant, because he was a manager, he's in a position of authority, and girls like that. And he'd be hooking up with girls there, and then women talk, because his wife would come in the restaurant all the time, and he always thought that he was getting away with it, even though he would run his mouth and go tell the guys, and then obviously the guys would talk about it, because somebody's hooking up with somebody else at work, it's gossip. And I remember, I think it was maybe a year and a half later, like he just never stopped. It was every couple of months it'd be some new girl that he was hooking up with, and he was so proud of it. Then he found out his wife was sleeping with this guy who was a football player for the Miami Dolphins. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was well known at the time. And then he found out, I think she told him she was leaving him, or he found out that she had a boyfriend, basically. And so
Good for her.
she got him back.
Good.
After countless times of him cheating on her,
Yeah.
she cheated on him and
hurt him?
married that guy. And last I heard,
Was he
divorced him.
butthurt?
He was wrecked over it
Wow.
because it hurt.
She hit him where it hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, I felt sorry for him, but I was like, dude, you
Can't
I'm
be
brought on
sorry.
yourself. You every time you hooked up with one of these girls, you're in here bragging about it, and your wife's in here all the time. And most of the girls that work here know your wife, and they hang out with her and drink beers, and you're sleeping with some. He's like, you think that's not going to get back to her?
You shouldn't feel bad. He set himself up for failure.
I felt sorry for him. I said,
Oh.
because it was pathetic.
I feel sorry
was
for
pathetic.
her that she had to endure that for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she kind of knew because I think she had caught him before.
She just got
before they
tired
even
of
got
it.
married, and that's she's probably thinking, I'm gonna fix him. I'm gonna change him. I'm gonna save him. And so she married him anyways, even though he's a liar and a cheater, and he never stopped.
But sometimes I don't think it's a mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna change someone. Oh, I'm gonna fix them.
A
It's
lot of women do that.
They're comfortable.
I'm not disagreeing, but
They're just comfortable. They don't want to leave the relationship or start
that.
over.
I agree with that also. A lot of people don't want to start over, but I think that some people do have hope and faith that people will change for the ones that they love. Not that you're able to change someone because
People don't. They don't change.
but people will never change.
They don't
They
change.
will
They
always
don't change who
stay
they are.
true to the core.
You got to see reality as it is, not better than it is or worse than it is, but as it is. And a lot of people are delusional. You got cheated on, or you did the cheating?
No, I've been cheated on multiple times. It's probably why I'm a little sour or a little bit more masculine with a wall. I don't take that shit.
You shouldn't have to.
And I will never take that shit. Take myself and my value very
You ever cheat on any of your boyfriends?
once and I
Oh
will.
shit! Once a cheater, always a
No.
cheater.
Once and
No,
it
but
was
she
the
did
biggest.
it once.
ain't
You-
She
you
did it
never-
once and regretted it.
Hold on, you,
I can just imagine the comments
you
now.
do you not want to hear what I
Go ahead.
immediately felt such guilt. It was right before I was leaving for college.
You cheat on
The
your
guy-
high school boyfriend?
Yeah, he was
Man, he
also a
broke
lot.
it.
He was a lot older than me though.
Did he
And
cheat on you?
he was, and I knew it. And like we weren't sleeping together. It was like 3 months. He wouldn't sleep with me. And like he was distancing himself because I was leaving. I was going to Gainesville.
So he was already lining up the replacement.
He was trying to like not be in love with me anymore. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, we're not intimate. Like, I don't feel the love. Like, do you not want to, like, do you not love me? And it turned into this whole crazy thing. So I was like, I need to feel like somebody cares about me. I need to feel like somebody wants to be with me. And one day I was at a party, I met someone, and then I went on a date. One date turned into a few dates. And then I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then next thing,
Oops. Oops, it just happened. His penis ended
But
up
it's like what I
inside
was
me.
saying
No, I
before.
mean obviously alcohol was involved, but it was
Not my fault, Corey.
it was consensual.
I got
but
drunk.
like,
It was like what I was saying
Corey.
before that
The
there's
comments
actually
are gonna
there's
be
I
actually
glorious.
hate.
it's like
no,
what I was
stop,
saying
Tyler.
earlier that there's
Comments are
people
going to be glorious, Caroline.
there's
Caroline,
people
cut that.
there's people out there
in.
that
We
they've
need the
cheated
brutal
and they
truth.
regretted it.
I
So,
felt so
they
much
do
regret.
exist.
He came over. I spoke to him about
It
it.
just happened.
He
Oops.
he knew. Like
She's going
he
out
had
on
a gut feel.
dates.
Like normally it's the women who have like that.
So he wasn't
gut
dating and
feeling.
courting you properly, and then some other guy came along and did.
I dated him for almost. It was like 3 years. Almost my entire.
But the bottom line is, you cheated on him. He cheated on you,
He was cheating on me.
He
first.
did it first.
He was cheating on me first.
and you've never cheated on any guy since then.
No.
What's the verdict? What do you guys think?
I will never cheat on anyone.
There's people out
because
there
I
that
know how much it hurts because it's happened to me multiple
How
times.
come you didn't just break up with him and then start dating another guy?
What do you mean?
Karma's a
You-
bitch.
Yeah, it was you monkey branched from your boyfriend to somebody else.
Well-
was it one of his friends?
No.
Somebody he didn't know. Oh, that's right. You said the guy you were dating is much older.
Yeah.
How much older?
I'm not telling you.
So you're 18, and how old was this boyfriend you were dating?
I was not telling you.
And was he in his 20s?
He's just older.
Can't.
He's just
He's in
older.
his 30s?
Period.
No. I was in high school. Corey.
I don't
not
know.
not for camera.
I'm just asking.
not for the camera.
He's just older.
So he was in his
Period. We'll leave it at
20s.
that.
So he's like a decade older.
No.
She likes those older guys.
I like older men. I think they're more mature. I think that they know what they want and they can
Most, but not all. Believe it or not.
well
They know how to treat a lady.
they know how to he
That for
honestly,
sure,
he was
yes.
the most respectful.
For sure.
He was a smooth operator.
He was definitely the most respectful man that
the guy you
I-
cheated with, or the boyfriend?
the boyfriend.
The one who cheated on you
The one who cheated on me.
relentlessly. That's respectful.
He did it to distance himself. I will give him that.
She's making excuses.
It's not an excuse. I get it. Like I get why
This
he
is her story.
I get why he
This
did
is the
it.
story that she
He's
tells
still
herself.
single. We're friends. I'm friends with almost
He's not
all-
trying to heat up leftovers?
No.
No?
I mean, he'll text me once every blue moon to check in, say hello, ask me if I want to grab a bite to eat or something.
He still wants to get back in there.
I mean, he'll always love me for sure, but that's
shit.
not the point of this. I think that the whole just to bring it back is cheating. I think that you should if you do cheat once and you realize like what it is and what you're doing to somebody else because it's being done to you, I don't think you're ever doing that to someone ever again.
What if you were in a relationship with a guy and then you hadn't had sex in 6 months and he's kind of neglecting you and not really paying attention, or he's going through a difficult time and he doesn't listen to you, doesn't make you feel heard and understood anymore, he's not trying to have
Then you
sex
break
with
up
you.
with him. Simple as that.
Well, say you're living together, and then say some guy comes along, maybe your next door neighbor or something, and you just are hanging out and having wine one night as you're telling him about everything that's going on with your problems in your relationship, and then maybe you kind of connect with that guy. Could it happen again?
Again, this has happened to me, so vice versa.
She's dodging the question.
No.
She's changing the question. Like a
No.
politician.
It's
Don't answer
happened-
the question that
I've
was asked
literally
of
been,
you.
I've been
Answer
in
the question
all of
that you
these
wished had been asked.
situations. It's a shitty situation. I've been in every single one where
But
I've
it's
been,
possible.
but I've been cheated on every time.
Every guy's cheated on you?
All of my serious boyfriends have cheated on me.
Damn.
Shit.
That's
So-
why I'm so sour.
Your pre-qualification skills suck.
I don't have.
But
a
how
good-
is she supposed to know that they're capable of doing such a thing?
they
Unless
take advantage of me
tell
because I'm
you.
too sweet, because I'm too nice, because I have
Gullible?
I might be. I have a golden heart and I give and I love a lot and
And
I
you make
choose-
excuses for bad behavior.
no, I choose to just see the best in people, and if
So
that
you
means
see
that
reality as better than it is.
possibly, maybe that's because I'm constantly on a yoga high.
Imagine that.
Is that a bad thing?
Not at all.
You know what I don't get? Guys that they think that because we're so nice they can get away with stuff, but
Right.
little do they know we women eventually find shit out.
We already
We
know.
always do one way or another.
Right.
So don't even bother taking advantage of a nice woman. You're already fucked, my dude. And you don't even know it. Which is the funny part.
I would like you to like elaborate a little bit more on that because I don't think they really understand how in
If they
depth.
try to take advantage of you and we eventually find out,
I mean, they still did it anyways.
yeah.
Their mission was accomplished,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter if you find out. They still got away with it in the first place, you know?
Okay,
Their
but
game is...
I agree with her point on this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they got
true,
away.
but
They got away with it with you.
Yeah.
until they don't anymore.
My friends in middle school
Story.
were bumping uglies with their
Well,
girlfriends.
not all of them. Like very, like a small percentage of kids do that, but not not a lot
It
of
even
them.
happens in elementary school.
Elementary.
Okay, well, we need to
So
teach a
I know
sex
this.
ed
I don't want
class.
to say
That's
too much.
why sex ed is super important.
Well, it's
It's
like
like super
so.
important.
Here's an interesting anecdote: is that kids are gonna follow the parents' example, and so back in the day when I used to mentor like at-risk kids, my one of the principals of the schools where some of the kids came from, he was telling me he's like, it was kind of a common thing that like the kids they watch the parents having sex, and then when nobody's around, they would sneak into the buses at school and start trying to have sex in the buses because they're trying to act out what they see the parents doing because the parents didn't care. The parents would just have sex in front of the kids all the time.
That's
And I
sad.
was like, elementary school? Are you serious? And he was like, yeah. And you know they walk in on that stuff. You know, or the bus driver walks in. Elementary school kids.
Oh my god.
crazy.
That is really sad.
That's gross, man. I can't.